We're going to kind of, again, go in reverse order. The last 4 questions of your quiz are like this. We're going to solve exponential equations. Okay, so starting off pretty easy. Your goal when you solve an exponential equation is you need the bases to be the same on the left and the right. Number 1's really easy because they're already the same. And so once you get the bases the same, you drop the bases and you just take your exponents and set those equal to each other, and then you solve this. So let's go through and solve this. We'll bring the baby to the mama, so I'm going to take the smaller x to the bigger one. I get 7 plus 2x equals negative 11. Subtract 7. So we get 2x equals negative 18. Divide by 2, and we get x is negative 9. And that to me is like the easiest situation that we have, because in that one, they were already equal to one another. So I didn't really have to do much other than solve a basic algebra equation. All right. Let's take a look at number 2, though. Now, I'm going to put a little star by number 2, because the very first question that you're going to have like this is going to look a lot like number 2. Part of the problem on number 2, it's not like number 1. You have 2 bases on the left. You need to get that to be 1 base. And so I've got to use those properties of exponents. Guys, really quick, help me out with this. If I gave you the problem x squared times x to the third, what would you say the answer to that is? Yeah, so remembering our rule, if we have the same base and we're multiplying, that really says, oh, just add the exponents together. Well, on the first 2, there's really a 1 is the exponent. That's 2 to the power of 1, and then 2 to the power of a plus 7. So to get these to go together, I've got to add 1 plus a plus 7. What would that simplify to? Can you simplify this? Can't you add the 1 and the 7? So it's a plus 8. So you get your bases together. Now that you have 1 base on the left, 1 base on the right, they're the same bases. We drop those bases and you set your exponents equal to each other, and now you're going to solve. So I'm going to move the a over. I've got 8 equals 4a minus 7. Add 7. Divide by 4. I feel like I did something wrong. Here we go. That's what I did wrong. Okay, I'm like, why is this not working out? Okay, I put a 7 here, guys. My bad. It should have been a 4 all along, because I was like, why is this not working out? All right, so let's regroup. That's a 4. That's a 4. That's a 4.
Thanks, Ivana.
Yes.
Gavin, check out, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Gavin, be ready for the quiz. Enjoy.
Thursday.
What's that?
Thursday, I'll be there.
Sounds good. All right, so we get a is 3. Sorry about that, guys. I wrote down the wrong number. Your first exponential equation on the quiz is going to look like that one. All right. All right, let's take a look at some of the other ones. Okay, for number 3, I don't have the same base. I've got a 3 and a 1 over 9. Who remembers when you get a fraction, what does that typically mean we're looking at? Yes, a fraction is going to typically mean a... Oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on here. Fraction means you're going to be dealing with a negative exponent. So I clearly don't want my base to be a 1 over 9. I want it to be a 3. I'm going to keep the other side, 3 to the 5n minus 12. And I have to figure out 3 to what power would get me 1 over 9. Guys, we did this in class. If I was going to start with 1, 3 to the power of 1 is 3, 3 squared is 9, 3 to the third is 27. That's not really getting me closer to 1 over 9. When your positive numbers don't work, that's the sign of, oh, let me test negatives. 3 to the negative 1 would be 1 over 3. 3 to the negative 2. Oh, you can't see that because I'm on the other page. Sorry. 3 to the negative 2 would be 1 over 3 squared. That's 1 over 9. So I want it to be negative. So I want this to be 3 to the negative 2. And now from here, we'll solve. We've got the same bases. We drop those bases. So my 3's cancel out. You go negative 2 equals 5n minus 12. And now we'll solve this. So I'm going to add 12. Divide by 5. And we get n is 2. Okay. So when you do see a fraction, that is the biggest clue of like, oh, this is definitely going to be a negative exponent. All right, let's take a look at one last one. And by the way, question for question, these are really, really similar to the ones that you're going to have on the real quiz. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4. Ooh, I got all sorts of things. I got a 4. I've got a 1 over 64, and I've got a 16. So I see that 1 over 64. I know that's going to end up being a negative exponent. That's how it's down there at the bottom. Any thoughts on what number all the bases should turn into?
16.
How could you, 4 to 16?
All right.
How about a 4? Just make them all 4s. Because you're going to kind of always rewrite the bigger one. I want to keep that 4 to the 3p. I need to get 1 over 64 to be 4 to something. Just think in your brain or in your calculator, 4 to what gets you regular 64? 4 to the third is 64. So 4 to the negative 3, that's when you send it to the bottom. That's how you get it to be a 1 over 64. So this will be 4 to the negative 3. And then we got to change 16. 4 to what power gets you 16, guys? 2. Okay, don't forget, we talked about this in class when we did this lesson. The 3p minus 9, that's got to come down, and you're going to multiply it to the 2. Similar to what we saw in the previous question, on my left-hand side of the equation, I've got to bridge those together. I can't have 2 4s. So I'm going to use my properties of exponents and add them. When you're multiplying, you're really adding these exponents. So it's going to be 3p minus 3. I'll go ahead and distribute that 2. 2 times 3p is 6p. 2 times negative 9, I'm going to get a negative 18. Now my bases are the same. I can go ahead and drop the bases, set those exponents equal to one another, and we solve. Okay. So I ended up getting P is 5 at the end of it.
What was the answer for the first one?
Negative 9. Did you get that? Okay. All right. So 4 questions, kind of like these. You've got 2 where you're in logarithmic and you need to go to exponential. You've got 2 questions where you'll be in exponential and you go to logarithmic. And then you've got 6 doing like the calculator, change of base with logarithms. Okay. Any questions? And the first thing we're going to do is like this bottom section right down here. On the quiz, this is what I'm saying. You're going to have 6 questions that look just like this. And in my opinion, every person should get these right because it's very easy. You are going to need to round to the nearest 100th. I'm going to change those directions. When we take our test, I'm just going to have you round to the nearest 100th if necessary. Okay? So, in your calculator, guys, the only thing your calculator will do with a logarithm is if it has a base of 10. And so when you look at number 7, obviously the base is a 6. You've got to do what's called the change of base formula. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a log over a log. The base, 6, goes in the bottom. Bases go down at the bottom. The other number, 216, goes up at the top. You plug this into the calculator. So for you guys, you're going to do 216 log divided by 6 log. And when you plug that in, you should get 3. I want you to make sure you know how to do that, honestly, because this is almost half of the quiz, is being able to do stuff like this. So this is the day, this is your time, practice it right now. Okay, now really quick, look at number 10. One thing I notice is there's no base. What's the base if there is no base? Sorry, what'd you say?
Never mind.
What is the base if there's no base? Does anybody know? 10. So I'm going to write if you said it, I didn't hear you. That's why I asked for clarification. The common base, if you don't see one, is 10. And so this base is a 10, which means your calculator could do log of 100 as it is. You don't need to do change of base. You're just going to do 100 log, and your answer should come out to be 2. Make sure you get this. Okay. I want you guys to take a moment, and I want you to try 8, 9, 11, and 12. You're just practicing literally plugging them into the calculator. So you see how down here in this section there's 6 of these? That's what your real quiz is going to have, 6 like this. So take a moment and try those. You're just plugging them in. 1.5, yep. So if I did change of base, it'd be log of 64 divided by log of 16, 1.5. Okay, same thing over here. I could have done log of 1 over log of 5, and that gets you 0. Okay, how about 11? Isaac, did you come up with anything on that one? Did you get anything?
0.7.
Yep, 0.73. Round it to the nearest 100th for me. Okay, and then finally, last one. How about Jay Sean? Did you get anything on number 12? 3.3, yeah. Log of 97 divided by log of 4, 3.3. So, there you have it, folks. Any questions on that? How many of you guys feel good? Like that's easy? Okay, good. So, recapping what we got going on. 6 of your questions are just like this. That should be kind of the easy freebies. You're going to have 2 questions in this section where you have something in exponential form and you need to write it in logarithmic. So if I'm going to write it in logarithmic, the very first thing I want to do is start with the word log. So it's going to be log. Now break it down. The 2 is your base. That goes down below. The 9 is the exponent. And one of the things we said is, hey, that exponent is so powerful, it needs its own side of the equation. So I put it all the way on the right by itself. The only other number left is that 512. That's going to hang out right next to that. Okay. You guys try number 5 for me. Look, I'm going to start off with log. Oops. So we're going to have the log of 8. That's the base. Your exponent is so powerful, it needs its own side. 36 slides in right next to the log of 8. Guys, what I have boxed out there, that whole thing is the answer. How many of you guys got that? Okay, so you got 2 like that. Now, really quick, we're going to talk about number 6. You are not going to have one on the quiz like this, but we can just kind of explore it. Do you guys remember when we did something like this where you had a base and it was raised to the power of e over r? Do you guys remember that? Exponent over root er? Maybe, yes, no? Okay, somebody tell me this. What number is tucked into that radical sign? A 2, okay? What would be the exponent on that square, or on 49? No, a 1. There's really a 1 hanging out there, right? So what's really weird on this question, and again, you're not going to have one like this on the quiz, is you're not really in exponential form. You're in radical form. And so what you're doing is you're first having to go from radical into exponential. So this would be 49 to the power of 1 over 2. That's like that e over r. So now that it's in, you have to kind of like get it into exponential form first, then you can go to log. It'd be log of base of 49 of 7 equals 1/2. You know, I just wanted to share that. That is not going to be on the quiz, but just so you know. The 2 that you will have are going to look more like 4 and 5. Okay? All right, moving up, we're backwards today. So on 1 and 2, you're going to have 2 questions like 1 through 3. Okay, these ones are in logarithmic. You need exponential. Start with the base. The base is 3. So it's going to be 3. The exponent is 6. 3 to the 6th equals 729. All of that is the answer to this question. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. My base is 2. I'm going to start with that. My exponent is 7. That equals x. You know, if it helps you to write stuff in, like this is your base, that is your exponent, then you can do it. That whole thing is the answer. You guys go with number 3. Try that one for me. It's a little bit of a trickier one, but you can do it. Taking a look at that, Jalen, what would be the base on number 3? No base, so what is the base? Like right down here? Because just log of 65. We kind of need to know what number would be hanging out down there. 10. That's that common base. So your base is 10. Your exponent is x plus 2. That equals 65. Okay? So remember, if there is no base, it's really a 10. How many of you guys got that one? Okay. So that's 10 of the questions right there. You've got 2 where you're in log and you go to exponential. 2 where you're in exponential, you go to log. And then 6 that's just straight calculator. Easy? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the first page now.